It's spooky season! So let's talk about the scariest thing I can think of. Frustrating conversions! For one reason or another, sometimes a Transformer just isn't fun to transform. That doesn't necessarily mean the figure is bad, it just means that's not the best thing about the figure. It could be the plastic is too thin or brittle, and I feel I might break it. It could mean there's too many steps and it just takes too frickin' long, because I'm lazy. Whatever the case, here's 10 figures I am scared to transform. But still did for this video. And animated them. Let's get to it. Even when I had the original Rain Dance, and not this knockoff, I was afraid to transform it. I like Rain Dance. I like his design, I like his character profile, I love Grand Slam and the combined mode. It's just, I absolutely dread transforming this figure. And the sole reason is the tiny little legs that connect to the feet. I'm not even going to attempt it on this knockoff version. But I assure you, on the original, it was also a scary idea, because it always felt like it was going to snap. Luckily, I have some alternatives now, but I do wish that Hasbro would do something more official as a cassette for the character. I loved the Commander Class Magmatron. I love his look, I love his posability, I love that he just exists. But I don't love transforming him, simply because it's an endeavor to line up properly and get everything in place. Don't get me wrong, this is a fantastic figure, but it's not one I like to mess with often. I like it, I just prefer a speedier experience. And that's okay. Some people collect for value, some people collect for the display. And that's what he is, a fantastic display piece. Because dang it, I don't have the time to change him back and forth all the time. Origins Jazz is a treat. He is honestly almost perfect, but I cringe with anxiety every time I try to align the roof of the vehicle. That clear plastic is a nightmare. The figure itself is a wonderful gift to longtime Transformers fans, and I still marvel that it even exists. You know, because the animation model appeared for all of 6 seconds on the show. But that doesn't stop me from fearing for its structural integrity every time I want to transform it. The Earthrise Seeker design is fine. They don't offend, but they don't quite wow. I guess I'm just tired of it after all this time. But no matter which figure you have, or if you're an obsessive person that just can't not complete the set like me, all of them, they all run into a few scary spots when it comes to their transformations. Mostly, all of my fears are concentrated on one specific point, and that's the chest panel. The plastic is thin, and it's held there with a friction tab on each side that you have to pry back to open. It's simply scary, and I worry it's going to snap every time I do it. It's a nice overall design, and I do like the figures. But wow, do they need to figure out a better way to do this when we get a classic Seeker again for the 1,000,000th time. I'll be honest, I do not like Earthrise RC. It does not make me happy. And the biggest reason is the transformation. But it's the thin plastic and the flappy panels. The way it never quite feels like anything is lined up properly. I just don't like it. The robot mode, in all fairness, strikes a good silhouette for RC, but provided you remove the entire back half of the car, which then serves little purpose on its own. And the vehicle mode does actually look like RC's G1 form, but the overall experience is pretty bad, and honestly, there are better RCs out there.
If you like the content of this channel, perhaps you would consider becoming a member to support us. Seriously, why are you asking? If you want their resources, just take them!
I'm gonna get some hate for this one. For the record, I do like Studio Series 86 Hot Rod. It's an incredibly impressive design. Do not get me wrong. But I just don't find it fun to transform. So many flippy panels and tiny tabs. And the clear plastic again always adds an element of risk that I don't think is needed in my Transformers. But hot damn, Hot Rod looks amazing in both modes. This is one of Hasbro's tricked out deluxe figures they bumped into the Voyager price point, and I don't hate it. I just don't like to transform him. Another fiery entry. Comic Edition Autobot Flame. This toy is absolutely gorgeous to look at. The details are incredible, and I absolutely love the retro future design elements throughout. But I absolutely hate transforming him. I think it's all the flippy panels and the tabs that never quite align. It never quite seems finished because you push in a tab on one side and something misaligns on the other in response. The result is an interesting Cybertronian hover tank. It's just the journey getting there was not a smooth one. I never got the Gamer Edition Megatron, so this being my first experience with the mold, I will say I'm happy to display him in robot mode, and leave it like that. There's a lot of things to like about Legacy Animated Bumblebee. He nails the look. He nails the colors. He can do the thing with his hands to make his stinger blaster. If you're like me and think this is one of the better incarnations of Bumblebee over the years, then this figure deserves a spot on the shelf. But, oh sweet Primus, transforming him is just annoying. It really comes down to his arm design. The way the shoulders sit on this unnecessarily complicated hinge system and have to be rotated and folded in just makes the cringe factor go sky high for me. I check for stress cracks on the thin plastic every time I do it. I wanted this figure to be good because I really like animated Bumblebee. And like I said, it does look great. It's just not very fun because of those arms and how they work. Leadfoot is so lucky he looks amazing in these colors. Cause wow, this is a scary figure to transform. Really, it's the legs. They are an exercise in frustration that almost catapulted him to the #1 spot on this list. Getting the legs to slot in perfectly for either robot or vehicle mode takes a level of patience that I do not possess. And I'm a guy that does stop motion animation for fun. I don't hate this figure because it looks so good, but I dread transforming it and avoid it at all costs. I probably could have picked any alternator to throw on this list, but I don't have Wheeljack or Grimlock anymore, and I'm not ready to open Mirage, so Optimus, you are my prime example of a figure that is scary to transform. I keep this figure for a number of reasons. He was meant to be a star in an old, unfinished project from back in the day. He looks kinda cool in robot mode. Also, I just love pickup trucks. But really, this figure, like a lot of alternators, is pretty damn scary to transform. Alternators were known for their obsessive details, and they're basically mini masterpieces. So with that came a complexity that was unheard of at a retail level at the time. Getting everything in the right place, flipping little panels and bits around, having them collide and get in the way, and then having one thing just not right so it doesn't line up correctly when you think you are done. Yeah, that was the joy of alternators and Vinyltech toys. Gotta love them. And there you have my top 10 scariest Transformers to transform. This was a fun one to do. Who sits on your shelf and fills you with dread? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. As we near the channel's 2nd anniversary, I can't help but feel real happy about the support you have all shown, and I can't wait to see where we go next year. Till next time, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, be sure to subscribe, and as always, try to stay happy.